Zurich was a wonderful city. Zurich and Geneva, I think, are rated higher than Vancouver as far as livability, on their livability scale. We went to the Old Town, and the Old Town's a beautiful area to walk around. Everything's so clean, so organized. The transit system works flawlessly. So we went to St. Moritz the following day. And St. Moritz is a beautiful, beautiful area. That was one of the original Winter Olympics in the old days. And very high-end area, has all the high-end shops and that. But the only thing is that's a little different than Zermatt. Zermatt's more of a walking town versus St. Moritz has traffic running through it. But it is very well organized. It's on a hill in the beautiful lake. And we went up to the Corviglia. The view is great. That's where we're great skiing there. And there's a funicular, which a funicular is like a small rail car that runs on a track that's kind of rack and pinion that goes up the mountain. And when you get up on the top, of course, a panoramic view, and also you can actually see St. Moritz in the background and the lake and all that. It's a gorgeous view. In St. Moritz, the main reason we went there was to board the Bernina Express. The Bernina Express is a UNESCO-rated train that goes from St. Moritz down to Toronto, which is about a 2-3 hour trip, I guess, by the train. The views were really quite spectacular because you're riding right exactly beside the mountains, so the mountains are very close to you and the peaks are right by you. And the train, of course, is a panoramic train which has the roof that's open so that you can see very well. And the following day after that, we boarded the Glacier Express. And the Glacier Express is another panoramic train, and it runs from St. Moritz to Zermatt. And this was a little longer train ride. It's about 8 hours. The viewing is a little different. You're a little further back from the mountains, and the landscape varies more with open meadows and pastures, and you can actually see animals, let's say sheep and cows, and then the very picturesque Swiss landscapes. And that was wonderful too. And that's a very worthwhile ride. And of course, we landed in Zermatt later in the day, and Zermatt is very busy. It was very international. We saw people from all over the world, and it was very, very crowded. There's no cars running through the streets, but they do have these golf carts that they're kind of called golf cart taxis, and they run through the street. And you got to watch out for them because they run pretty fast. They get around pretty quick, and you have to be a little watchful for that. Beautiful hiking trails and all that. Matterhorn is really iconic for Zermatt as well as for Switzerland. And of course, beautiful views, and especially in the morning when the sun rises and it shines on it, it just glows, It's so wonderful. Zermatt is a must-do, and Matterhorn is a must-do. I think everyone has, that as being one of their bucket lists is to see the Matterhorn. And Grindelwald, though, was a nice little small town, but it was the base for where we went to the Jungfrau. The Jungfrau is the famous mountain that has a tunnel with a railway that goes through it, and then they have a vertical elevator that goes way up top to what they call the Sphinx on top. And it's right on the pinnacle of the Jungfrau mountain, I guess. And this Jungfrau, once you get to the top, there's a big complex of tunnels. And in these complex of tunnels, which were started in 1896, it's amazing the technology they had at that time. I guess it must have been one of the engineering feats of the world in that time period, because they had to do it all by hand. Also, they have areas where you can actually, if you didn't know how to ski, or if you do know how to ski, you could try it, or ski if you want, even in the summer, because you're on the glacier. And they had some zip lining and tobogganing and that sort of thing. The other place we went to was also called the Schildhorn, and that's also very nice. Their claim to fame, of course, is a 360-degree panoramic view, and the restaurant is a revolving one. After the Jungfrau, and we left Grindelwald, and we went to Chabris, because we were going to a wine festival in Vevey. And we had friends that have a son that's working in Vevey, and he had recommended us that we buy tickets for there ahead of time because they have a wine festival. It's called the Fête de Vignon, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it only happens 5 times a century. So every 20 years about, they have this festival, and it's a big thing. The festival goes for about 3 weeks. It started originally in, I think, mid-1700s, and it's been going ever since. 7,000 local actors, and of course it's Fête de Vignon means the Festival of the Wine Growers, or the Wine Growers Festival. And so this whole area where we were is a UNESCO site and has all these Laveau terraces, or Laveau wine terraces they call it, and it's on the hill. They're nearly 1,000 years old. We had a hotel that's more or less right in the middle of all the vineyards, and you could walk between the vineyards in the day. And it goes for 3 weeks, and now I guess you have to wait for another 20 years for that to happen. Because when we went from Zermatt to Chabris, we passed through Bern and Lausanne at the same time. And Bern is a beautiful city, is an old city, and their claim to fame is that they have these kind of buildings that are built over sidewalks, and it's in a market. And underneath the sidewalks, there's also shops, and the entrances are on the street through kind of barn door shutters kind of thing, and you kind of enter through and walk down very steep steps and go underground. So it was kind of unique too. The last day we spent was in Geneva. Geneva is right on the lake. Beautiful city. I guess their iconic thing that's known is there's a jet fountain that comes out of the lake. Really enjoyed it. Switzerland's probably not everyone's map, but you know, it's an easy way to travel. It's a little expensive, but you know, if you watch your, you know, the food budget is the main thing. If you do picnicking by buying stuff from the Co-op and Migros, it's not so bad. Hotels and that, probably, we stayed in mostly 3-star, and once in a while 4-star hotel. They were all very clean. Some of them included, in fact, a washing machine, so that was great, you know, if you time it right. And travel light, because expect to do a wash or a hand wash, or go to a laundromat, or get it done by the hotel once a week, and then you're done. You know, so travel light is the main thing, because you got to drag your suitcase a lot around on the train and put it overhead, and also take it on the cobblestones on the street.